Guten Tag alle, Herr Wallace here. Today we're going to talk about the superlative in German. And before I get started, I just want to make clear that in German there are two ways to form the superlative. So let's take our adjective schnell, which means fast. We can form the superlative by saying am schnellsten, or we can form it by saying schnellster. Both of these words mean fastest. So what's the difference? Am schnellsten is never used to modify a noun, so you'll never see it used as an adjective describing a noun, whereas schnellster can, and it can also be standalone. And when it does so, it's capitalized. So I like to think that schnellster is a more flexible form of the superlative in German. So let's look at some examples with am schnellsten so you can see how it's used. Er ist am schnellsten, he is the fastest. Dieses Auto ist am schnellsten, this car is the fastest. Wie fahren wir am schnellsten nach Bremen? Oder wie kommen wir am schnellsten nach Bremen? How do we get to Bremen the fastest? Du hast es am schnellsten gemacht. You have done it the fastest. So with schnellster, you can say er ist der schnellste, he is the fastest. Das Auto ist das schnellste. And you notice that since er is a masculine, it's a guy, so we're using der schnellste. And das Auto is neuter, so we're saying das schnellste. Das ist das schnellste Auto. Now here I'm using it as an adjective to describe the noun Auto. And then I also use it as an adjective in the last one. Ich habe den schnellsten Hund. Now you'll notice here that it takes endings, and this happens depending upon the case of the noun. So ich sehe den schnellsten Hund. Ich sehe das schnellste Auto. And ich sehe die schnellste Katze. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so what we have here are just some examples here of some sentences, and this is what I call a Tagebuch, which in our class is just basically a journal exercise that we have every day to review things that we've learned. This happens to have taken place on the 13th of November. So we're going to just go over these sentences here. If you wanted to say, I have just seen the worst film, the word just, well, first of all, the worst, you have schlecht and you have schlimm. Both of these mean bad, okay? So you could say, ich habe gerade den schlechtesten Film gesehen, oder ich habe gerade den schlimmsten Film gesehen. And here gerade is used as just. You may have heard gerade before in terms of geradeaus, or as having the meaning straight, but gerade can also in certain cases mean things like just. If we want to say he is the fastest runner in the world, we would say er ist der schnellste Läufer in der Welt. Who is the oldest person in the room? Wer ist die älteste Person in dem Zimmer oder im Zimmer? We can form a contraction from in dem and make it m. One thing about the superlative, which we've also brought out in previous videos, if you have an adjective like alt, and it is one syllable long, and it has an A over U, it will take umlauts both in the comparative and in the superlative. And furthermore, if an adjective ends in a T, a D, or even an S, and sometimes the diphthong EU, it will add an extra E in the superlative. So, for example, ältester. Before I've added the STE, I have this extra E. So, in English, we would say he is the most intelligent man that I have ever met. In German, er ist der intelligenteste Mann, den ich je kennengelernt habe. Another possibility, den ich jemals kennengelernt habe. So this je or jemals is ever. And then we have a relative pronoun here, den, referring back to the man. But you'll see that intelligent ends in a T. So we have added this extra E there, just as we did with schlecht in our first example. Now, he is as old as I. Er ist so alt wie ich. It's a tendency on the part of English speakers when they're learning this to say, for example, er ist so alt wie mich. But you want to make sure that you keep that noun or subject pronoun after the V in the nominative case, so it's going to be the nominative pronoun, or ich. Today is the coldest day this week. Heute ist der kälteste Tag dieser Woche. Now here I've utilized the genitive case to So Woche, which is die, feminine noun, is changing to der, but I'm saying this, so it's diese Woche. So this is the genitive case. And you'll see again, here we have another adjective that's one syllable long, kalt, has an A, so we umlaut the vowel. And because it ends in a T, we add an extra E, so kälteste. Where is the longest river in the world? Wo ist der längste Fluss in der Welt oder der Welt? So here it is nominative because it's coming after it's basically the predicate nominative after the verb sein, ist in this example. So we're keeping it der, and then we just have one syllable vowel again, lang. We add umlauts, so make it länger, or in this case, längste. Now I could say, for example, using the other form of the superlative, der Fluss ist am längsten. And that would mean that is the longest river. So just to show you the difference there. And she is the nicest lady in the school. So we're going to use Frau. Sie ist die netteste Frau in der Schule. So here we have another adjective, nett. It is one syllable long, but you cannot put umlauts over an E, so we leave it alone. And we add an extra E. Sie ist die netteste Frau in der Schule. Okay, so vielen Dank für das Zuschauen. Ich hoffe, dass es ein bisschen informativ war. I hope that was a little bit informative and has helped you to improve your knowledge of the superlative in German. Dankeschön.